Hello. Okay. Hello and welcome to the continuation. This is part 2 of my Alpha to PLEX stream, or actually stream series, and in this stream I am trying to grind to PLEX as an alpha clone with the fastest ways I know possible in EVE Online. In the first part, if you have not seen it, I have skipped the new player experience in favor of quickly getting a slasher frigate and joining factional warfare. I have been killed by an allied military pilot, which was not something that I expected from them, but that happens. So I got myself a little bit of a bit more risk from the agents and another ship. And now I have a slasher that has, well, quite bad equipment, but not completely useless. So this can be hopefully used again to try and get some loyalty points from the factional warfare. And that's where I'm going to head right now. This ship is obviously not fit for combat, but this is primarily because we have 171,000 ISK and this pilot has not been trained into any decent ship or gunnery skills. I only trade the bare minimum that was necessary to fly this ship and operate guns. We have 78 people in militia channel and nobody is nearby. We have been defending this system Ciseide, and our Minmatar militia has tier 2 rating, meaning that we're getting standard bonuses, standard LP reward for capturing plexes in offensive, and 25% penalty for capturing defensive plexes. Of course, if we would have had a tier 3 or tier 4 militia, it would have been slightly more profitable. But at the moment, the best tier is available, I think, only in Calgary State Militia, and for that one, it's a little bit long too, so I'm not going to go there immediately. Okay, I will keep this not redeemed because I want it to be redeemed into some station where I'm physically present so that I can actually inject that skill immediately when I get the book. Oh yeah, CCP, sure. This is probably the most wasteful way of spending $16 or euro in EVE Online. And also, if you have not noticed, in the upper left side of the screen I now have a counter that says playtime so far 1 hour 50 minutes, and there I will accumulate all the time that I have spent on this character actively playing it until I reach my first PLEX. And I will also try to make summary reports every 10 hours if we don't manage to get this very quickly done. Again, the most important part of this feat are these two inertia stabilizers, which allow us to have 2.4 second align time. That's not perfect. The perfect align time should be something below 2 seconds. That will make us basically uncatchable in low security space, except for maybe smart bombing battleships. But for the purpose of a newbie character participating in factional warfare, I think 2.4 is enough for the purpose of safety. So long as you of course don't trust people not to kill you and don't let them come near you. So the first gate where we are entering low sec would be the Amamake gate, and that is probably the most risky gate on our way. But let's see what will happen. And also I can check this solar system in that kill board and check if there are any actual PvP activities that have been happening. So actually it says that, yeah, our slasher was the last ship that was killed in that system today, about 5 hours ago. And not surprisingly, it was also the only ship that was killed today. And just to make sure that we are not missing that particular person once again, you can open their screen. Yeah, actually I should have checked their bio. It's quite weird. Okay, yep, no one here.
Drive active.
And I will just add this contact and set it to terrible standing. Now, if they appear anywhere in the local, they will be indicated with this big red minus sign next to the name, and I will know that something is quite fishy going on. And we need our directional scanner. Okay, there are some pirates here in this system. That's not good, definitely. So I will probably just warp directly to the station.
Warp drive active.
First. There are Hound and Algos on scan range. Whoa, that's a lot of people. I definitely don't want to stay here for a long time.
Warp drive active.
Those are stealth bombers though. Stealth bombers are not a kind of fleet that will actually be dangerous to us, because they are primarily having anti-battleship weapons. Okay. And another person with blinking pirate sign. Same procedure.
Warp drive active.
First warp into a station, and meanwhile we can make a safe spot. somewhere in between, just to make sure that we can actually warp to a place that is not camped and where nobody expects us to be. This is not the best way to make a safe spot, because you are making it on a straight line between two objects, so it's very easy to pinpoint your location by standing on one of the objects and using directional scanner. Okay, I guess we can return back to the solar system. This one is not very contested, so there is nothing that we can earn by doing defensive plexes. With 4%, we're going only to get 4% of the payout times 75%, so basically 3% of maximum payout, virtually nothing. In such situations, even doing offensive plexing is probably worth the risk. Okay, there is still somebody here. So, on the other hand, D-scan says it's Algos on D-scan, so we can probably go to a novice outpost, because Algos will not be able to actually enter a novice outpost. A novice outpost can be only entered by Tech 1 frigates and pirate frigates. It also has the lowest reward, so not very good. Okay, yeah, I actually forgot to change the range of my scanner. That's a mistake. Okay, nobody is inside.
Warp drive active.
So let's go on. Okay, and now we have the timer. Okay, this person is using Catalyst, and that's why we are not caring about them. Again, Catalyst is a destroyer, so they cannot enter this complex. That's more interesting. So normally when you are inside the PLEX, if you don't want to engage in PvP, you want to be as far away from the entry point, from the beacon to which people warp in, as possible. That's this beacon, 35 kilometers in this case. But you want to still be within the range of basically 30 kilometers from this beacon that says Novice Outpost. And you want to have some warp out target always ready for warping out, in case somebody cloaky warps nearby and you just don't detect them until they enter the complex. This person is potentially dangerous. According to the ZKill board, they are flying quite frequently stubbers, and they have quite extensive PvP record in factional warfare. But exactly because they are flying stubber, they are probably not a danger to us, because stubber is a cruiser and they will not be able to enter this complex. Also, I don't see a stubber even on a directional scanner, so they might be docked in a station just as easily. The goal of this stream is to earn a little bit of loyalty points and to make sure that we have basically this as backup funding to rebuy new frigates, and then basically to go and try to cash a little bit of that into ISK. First of all, we will see then how much we actually need, because unfortunately loyalty points cannot be just extracted into ISK directly. There are some certain items that you buy for loyalty points, and those items also require other items and ISK as secondary inputs. So you only can extract those when you have something. So we will need to first figure out maybe a little bit of other type of farming to get enough ISK so that we can convert the first batch of loyalty points. But everything is irrelevant so far because we don't have any loyalty points yet. So okay, that's very interesting. So something happened. Probably somebody killed someone. I doubt that it was this person, the Klakla Wolverine. So yeah, this Aquarius Sage. Either one of them killed someone. So we have stubber nearby, which means that likely it was Aquarius Sage who died. Again, stubber is not any risk to us. That's one of the good sides of factional warfare, because you can actually sort of pick your size. So if you feel comfortable with frigates, only frigates, then you can basically focus on frigates and fly only small and novice plexes. In small plexes you can also use destroyers, so okay, again, shuttle, irrelevant, and we know who that is because it's this X-Ray Zeely, new person, local. So directional scanner is actually very informative tool, and at the moment we don't see much of the system. Most of the system is still in the center, and we are probably somewhere on the outskirts on one of the furthest planets. Yeah, planet 9. And because of that, and because the system is quite large, our range is just too short. So the solar system map. Yeah. This green sphere is what we actually see with the D-scanner, and these objects here, they are the objects that we cannot see. Hey, 50 seconds till we get our first loyalty points for this marvelous participation in factional warfare. I wonder what this person does, because it looks like they are just a hauler. There are people who are basically using very cheap industrial ships to do courier missions inside low-sec systems. Some of them, people say, are even using bots, because courier missions are the ones that are the easiest to automate, because all you do is basically accept a mission, put your loot and cargo, undock autopilot, and deliver it. Okay, so our first payout, 3,250 loyalty points. Not much, but we need to check first what is the actual exchange rate at the moment. It is probably at least 1,000 euro, sorry, 1,000 ISK per loyalty point. And yeah, with this, let's check if we have any other novice outposts nearby. We have a few small ones, and we know that this stabber is somewhere near, but not necessarily waiting for us anywhere. So yeah, since they are here, we can warp to another small outpost.
Warp drive active.
We have seen a lot of new people coming in. Most of them are our allies, one way or the other. So we don't have to really care about their presence in the local, but they mess up a little bit our discount capabilities. So here we don't see anybody inside or even nearby, so we can safely enter the small outpost. And we now have a Confessor nearby. Well, Confessor is a tactical destroyer, and tactical destroyers cannot get into small complexes, so again, we don't care. But this actually can be something dangerous, a Firetail. So let's narrow our range down to 5 astronomical units, and if they appear nearby, then we might need to get worried. Okay, nobody again on scans. I doubt that this person changed their ship from Stabber into anything else so quickly, so they must be still in Stabber, and whatever we have seen are probably people who were just passing by. Similarly, I don't think that the person who has been recently killed have managed to change their ship, because usually when you are in active PvP, you get this PvP timer, and you probably want to let it pass before you go anywhere else. Otherwise, you are just increasing the probability that you will be shot down. Yeah, another goal of today's video is to wait until this 120 minutes counter reaches its maximum and to see what will be the actual payout that we're going to get. But at the moment we have already completed one novice PLEX, and that was at least 3.7 million ISK. So yeah, We will see how it's going to play out after maybe another small plex. Again, because we are not getting any loot from this, our value in case of a loss will be, well, 430,000 ISK. So nothing virtually. We are such a invaluable target that many players will probably not bother even killing us unless we are doing something actively stupid like we did the last time by just letting them fly in and try to catch us. Even if you see that people are your allies, if you are not certain that they are actually reputable people who don't kill allies, you probably want to be careful. Okay, this is actually something dangerous. Once again, Firetail, quite close, very close. We might need to warp out actually. But let's them come into the complex. At least we will see who that is. And since we are going to warp out almost immediately, that's not going to be an issue anyway. Okay, that's this Ica knife.
Warp drive active.
And I'm going to save this complex. I have doubts that they will try to actually capture it, but just in case. And this time I'm going to warp to this saved location at 100, just to make a bookmark relatively nearby, and then immediately warp out back to another bookmark. Okay, they are not inside, that we can tell for sure, but we now have quite a lot of different people here.
Active.
So Jackdaw, Keter, Firetail. Yeah, I failed at doing a warping bookmark.
Warp drive active.
I want to have a bookmark that is relatively close to that particular complex, so that I can use this scanner to check if anybody comes into it. but still not be inside the complex so that other players don't
Warp drive active.
think that I'm actually available as a prey. I will make this a safe spot, because even though it technically isn't, this location is not permanent and it will soon disappear. So it will be actually impossible to detect location of this spot on a straight line between two different celestials. Okay. And at the moment, okay, this one is a little bit further away, so we'll increase the range to 5.8. Yeah, nobody is sitting there, and nobody is immediately nearby. Jacktoki, Chimera, and Stubber. Well, let's see. Quite a lot of traffic. The best time to do this is obviously near daytime. Near downtime, sorry. The best way to ensure that nobody will bother looking for you and try to actually kill you is to have... basically is to be vigilant for some time. And after that, most people who live in this area will recognize your name and they will stop actually trying to kill you. Because they will know that the moment you basically the moment they show up in the complex, you warp out immediately. That you never sleep, that you are not available as a target, and even if you are, then you have trash feet that will give them no money, no reputation, nothing at all.
Warp drive active.
And we're back in our spot. Again, the most important part here is that this timer is not going to be reset. So, since we have already captured almost 5 minutes, it will keep capturing. They will keep looking for ships nearby. There are, of course, strategies where somebody might get into the complex, cloak inside, and wait for you to come in to farm it. But this makes their ship actually quite unsuitable for fast locking, so means that if they try to decloak, after that they will, in most cases, have at least some recalibration timer, or in addition to that, even if they have a specialized ship like a stealth bomber that don't have recalibration timer, they will still have, well, they will basically still have to lock you. And that means that they're not exactly in a good position to catch a ship that can warp out in 2 game ticks, or 3 game ticks. In theory, the moment they appear in the overview, if you just warp out immediately from there, in that same second, in the same tick, it's not possible to catch you for a cloak ship, because they still need to spend 1 tick of the game time to decloak, one tick to start locking, and only then one tick to apply scramblers and disruptors that will prevent you from warping. But it is a reaction game, so tread carefully and be vigilant. And this system is 42% contested, so basically the payout we got from the previous complex was about 30% of the maximal payout that you can get if you capture offensive PLEX, or basically 40% of the maximum payout of defensive PLEX, so about 7.58 thousand loyalty points in this tier, if you're just plexing defensively. In 10 minutes, which is about 8 million ISK, so you can do the math, 48 million per hour, basically on second hour of your gameplay. And again, the novice ones are the easiest in terms of safety, because they are the most restricting to other players. They will have the least amount of options. And with the more sophisticated one, there is a little bit more risk. They have longer timer, they have better payout even per minute, of course, but they require you to be able to warp out very quickly from a lot of different potential targets. So it's a good question, what is more profitable? This stabber guy is still basically sitting in the system. And the kill is now posted on the kill board, and they killed Algos, so that Aquarius Age have been supplying Algos. One good idea came into my mind, but I think that requires some collaboration with that killboard guys to make a tool that will allow you to basically copy-paste chat into some online service to check immediately what is the status of the people who are flying near you. Have they ever been involved in killing their own militia members or alliances? Because that might be very helpful information. This firetail again, but still not immediately here. Again, there is a chance that they will try to just scare us out so that we don't get this complex and they get money. That might happen. But yeah, actually it looks like they have just had a fight. I need timestamps. 48, so 3 minutes ago. Yeah, definitely something. And they are still flying firetail, which is good for them. It means that stabber guy is probably dead. Otherwise, I don't think that doing this scaring out people so that you can get the PLEX reward is a valid strategy, really. Because first of all, you don't know if people are going to get scared, and if they won't, then you are going to split the reward between you. And even if you get this reward, it's not very big for an established player to bother. They can go into offensive PLEX and get slightly more, or even join another militia and get better rewards there. For us, it's not so many, not so much choice at the moment. So. Firekill is still somewhere relatively close, probably on this station, because it's, oh no, actually not here. So this SU gate, because that's the only thing that falls into 14.3 range, but doesn't fall into 10 astronomical unit range. You can set custom range here and identify targets even better with range searching, or you can use directional search using the narrower angle here and map to locate your cone. Basically, as you rotate camera, you can select in which direction you want to scan, and if the target is within this angle from the direction, then they will show up. So you can get quite good understanding where that location is. And nowadays, basically, combat scanning, basically probing enemy ships, can be done by using directional scanner first and getting, well, very coarse but still precise enough for combat probes location by just having very narrow angle and then setting appropriate range and then scan on the tip of that cone with combat probes. That allows you to reduce the amount of scans that you need to do in order to identify someone. Okay, 50 seconds again. Yeah, this will be definitely enough in terms of plexes for today. Also, I don't like the traffic in the system. That's not the most calm functional warfare system. I think with 25 seconds it's safe to say that we're going to get this PLEX even if somebody tries to get here. And from here I would like to get direction to France, because that would be one of the shortest ways to high security space where we need to go. Okay, and let's head there. And 5,500 more. So we have now about 9,000 loyalty points. Even if we die, they are not going to go anywhere, so we can now check our store calculators, what we can do with these 9,000 points to get our ISK. That's probably going to be not the most efficient conversion, but we need to get some money. Oh, that's a lot of people. Okay, these diamond things are not actually people. Those are NPC ships. And we need to get to Osegur. So we are fighting for the tribal liberation force, and that's is where we are getting the loyalty points. The loyalty points maybe are in the wallet. Yes, here. So yeah, tribal liberation force. And we need to find some station nearby, preferably in high security space, so let's go this direction.
Overdrive active.
Basically on every station of this corporation we will be able to exchange our loyalty points. And we want to find our corporation based on best deal on sell price. Okay, one of the best things that the calculator tells me right now we can sell would be Republic Fleet Proton M charges. So they're relatively cheap, I would say, in terms of other materials that we need, but we still need at least 300,000 for the first batch of Proton M. So first of all, yeah, let's dock into this tribal liberation force, because we are not going to fly around with anything valuable on this character, since we are still in this war.
Overdrive active.
Instead, we are going to create a new character, and we are going to do just a little bit of new player experience again and career agents to fund our purchase of Proton M charges.
Docking permission requested. Docking request accepted.
And I'm also going to check where if I can sell those Proton M charges in closer hubs at a higher profit. Well, the best offer is still in Gita. No problem. Probably we are going to make a Caldera character, just so that it is located closer to Gita immediately. No, I don't want a tutorial, thank you. Oh, come on. I hope I didn't reset that counter. If I did, that would be the most annoying thing in this new player experience. I mean, seriously, you promise people to give them money after 2 hours and then you start adding asterisks. No, you cannot have this. Yeah, no, okay, that's good. 71 minutes, fine. We will be done in time.
Connecting.
But then a good question is what will happen if we accumulate time on both characters. Okay, so I need to get here to career agents because I need to get some money. It's special here, just our destroyer, so sorry, corvette. So the calculator tells me that in order to exchange 8,000 something loyalty points, we need to do a deal of 25,000 Proton M charges, which means that we need ideally 1.5 million ISK to buy those Proton M charges in the first place, and then hold them, exchange them, and then we will get basically 8 million ISK worth of charges, plus maybe even 9 million ISK. Also actually we need apparently 1.6 million ISK immediately. Okay, maybe that's not such a good idea. Maybe I need to find some better exchange item. Well, the data cores don't require anything else except for the loyalty points and ISK, so I really don't know at the moment.
Drive active.
Well, I guess that of course it is, so maybe we don't need this character after all. Let's instead have a look. Yeah, let's dock and let's have a look what kind of data cores we can sell quite close to the place where we are. Because we do have 250,000, I think. If not, we can do one quick round of the project discovery to get 200,000.
Docking permission requested. Docking request accepted.
Okay, we have 171,000. So yeah, let's do project discovery. That's here. It is basically a mini game that is intended to support scientific research, the real life scientific research. And in this mini game you basically just need to mark different scanned cells of different organisms to identify their borders. Well, the reality is that you need to do basically something like this. So if you see two edges or two hot spots, then you split into two parts. You just detect the border, and that gives you the best actual results. In terms of accuracy. So here we have clearly 4. So we need to identify 4 areas. Maybe like this. It's sometimes difficult to tell exactly where the borders should be, but that's the whole point of this challenge. So machines cannot do that relatively reliably. Okay, yeah, and we failed it. And it says 5. Yeah, I missed this one. Should have read what it says there. It would have been more obvious. Again, the outer borders make no difference. Only the borders between those samples. Okay, this looks like 2 of them. Okay, and every time we get this reward screen, we are going to get a bit of payout added, and this payout happens in some time intervals. We can move if we have made a mistake here, and just fix some issues. Again, I'm not trying to make it anywhere perfect, it doesn't really matter. The accuracy scores are quite good. They influence your long-term payouts. Basically, this score gets better and better if you do it for a longer time. But since we're going to only do this maybe once, just to get some small influx of cash, we don't care if we are doing this exactly accurate. Okay, and we just got the payout. So that will be the last one. You also get different caches that you can open, like this one, and some of them will contain actually valuable skins. Well, not exactly valuable, but valuable enough for us because they are not. They cost something. Let's see. And min-motor shot, 46,000. I guess we can just apply it. Okay, so we do have enough money to buy one batch of data cores. So yeah, it will take a little bit of time to bootstrap this process. But that's in essence how we do it. So we go to the faction loyalty point store. And here we have data cores, paste it. We can have hydromagnetic, mechanical engineering, min-motor, starship, molecular, and nuclear physics. Now we need to go to some web page like bigmarketer.com and find basically the data core that you can sell at best price somewhere nearby, because we cannot really go to cheaper with this character. In rents, people are buying hydromagnetic physics lower than we would actually pay for it, probably, or not. 63,000, no, not worth it. We need to aim at least for 90,000 to get any reasonable income. Hydromagnetic physics is probably the best one, at least the calculator tells that it is the most expensive one, but yeah, not in this location. Okay, well, interestingly enough, the best price is in Amar, and we can probably, okay, it's 10 jumps from here, by a low sec, which is not a good idea. On the other hand, those data cores are small, so maybe, yeah, maybe do that. The question is, do we have any option to go to, for example, this system? Yeah, it's probably under Amar control. Actually, somebody is buying them at a quite nice price nearby. But just in case these are not bought, well, these are even better. Yeah, so we're going to purchase a batch of these, just one. So we're spending this much, and we're going there, and then we're going back here, and we're going to do this trip several times until we exchange all our loyalty points into actual assets, or ISK in this case. It's going to get a little bit easier after you have at least some backup cash, like 50 million ISK is more than enough to recover, but in this case we are starting from ground zero, 29,000 in cash, so again, if you are just starting if all this sounds too complicated, you probably want to go through those career agents first of all because they give you money and ships, and second because, well, they teach you some mechanics and gameplay styles.
Warp drive active. active.
This is a player-owned structure, so you might not have access to it even though it is in high security space. This is industrial station, engineering complex, that is owned by players. And it can be attacked and destroyed, so if you have something there, you might end up in a situation where you will not be able to access it for a bit of time. But in all cases, you can recover it. I think the default recovery time is about 20 days. Okay, so we have those and we can sell them immediately at a hefty profit. And we do have 500,000, that's good. It means that we will be actually able to bring 2 sets the next time, and then 4, 8, 16 and so on. Maybe a little bit less. Because we also have to pay this 8% tax.
Active. Warp drive active. Warp drive active. Docking permission requested. Docking request accepted.
Again, loyalty point store. And just to make sure that I'm not mixing things up. So those were molecular engineering, right? Yes. So we're purchasing them. And now we're going to buy 2 because we can afford this. So we're going to get 10 data cores. Undock. Yes. At waypoint.
Warp drive active.
So we have 8,000 loyalty points left. Assuming that the next iteration we will get 750 out. And then 1.5 million. So probably 3 more trades. So this one plus 3 more. And we are going to get all our loyalty points converted into ISK. Safe and sound. If you are doing this for a living, I mean factional warfare, you would usually have a dedicated alt character that will do the hauling for you, and you will also have a stockpile of all materials necessary to just convert your loyalty points out. Because that's just and that's how we have made almost our first one. Their enemy.
Warp drive active.
Yeah, now the optimal and follow range are actually quite clearly visible because we have the tactical overlay enabled. You can see the inner red circle means the optimal range of our guns, and the outer red circle means optimal plus double follow, meaning at that range you will only start doing some bare minimum of damage to enemies.
Docking permission requested.
Everything that's outside of the outer red circle is basically, well, you might hit something, in theory, sometimes, but the probability is low. Again, loyalty point store, molecular engineering, and this time we're going for 3. And 1.5 million worth of page course, and 200,000 in cash.
Warp drive active.
While we are flying, we can as well spend some time planning our ship for some more combat appropriate fit. that would definitely not include civilian Gatling autocannon. This is in-game calculation tool, basically, and you can play around with it to your liking. There is nothing really that you need to pay for testing different modules and to see how they will actually be looking at your ship with your skills. First of all, I'm interested to know how much it will cost us and will it give the expected result if we are going to have 2 inertial stabilizers. Not yet. 2.23 is still not enough, and frankly speaking, not much difference. They are not so expensive, so maybe it's not a bad thing. But for now, let's keep the Tech 1 versions. Let's see. Okay, at the point I can sell it. Again, since this is other players buying stuff from you, you might need to adapt to a situation based on what's going on actually, and not just follow the same recipe. But either way, you can just look up the best offer for data cores that you have, and that will help you kickstart your cash. And once you have at least some money, even if, like in this case 1.6 million, you can already buy out something even more expensive and things that have more demand. But data cores are not bad. Apparently in the stations like this there is demand for those, because industrialists don't like to carry them by themselves. Okay, so here I would like to get some afterburner, the real one, not civilian version, and I would like to go again with those 150mm guns. You can see the price of each module on the left, so these are quite cheap. Again, we're building the cheapest possible but still combat capable frigate in case we might want to kill, for example, a few NPCs here and there. One of the standard practices to tank your frigate, if it has shield tank, as in this case, because we have a lot of medium slots, is to use medium shield extender instead of small shield extender, because medium shield extender consumes a lot of power grid, you can see, but it gives you also a lot of health points in shield. The problem is that the only one that is really good and useful for fitting into a frigate, this regolith compact, is also extremely expensive. And the other two eat most of our power grid. So I really don't know. Again, since the aim is to have something against NPCs, maybe we can just get away with this. Here the most important stats are of course consumption of CPU and power grid, but also on the upper right side you can see the delta in terms of capacitor, how much capacitor we will have after adding this module and activating it. Molecular engineering again. This time we can have 6. So in this case I would like to go with the enduring version because it leaves us with more capacitor, and maybe add, first of all, we need a hardener. Yeah, these active hardeners are very power hungry for frigates. So I will add a compact shield amplifier instead. What's so expensive actually? Oh yeah, our data course, of course.
Warp drive active.
And then thermal shield amplifier, compact as well, to make some resistances. And then finally we're going to get the most expensive parts for the frigates, which are rigs. First of all, I would like to try actually get some navigation rig to reduce the warp out time.
Warp drive active.
Okay, even if I add one, that would be only 227. And even with Tech 2 inertia stabilizers, it's not going to be helpful. Well, never mind. Also, probably can't remove one inertial stabilizer at all, because basically it doesn't matter anymore at this stage. It's still going to be rounded up to 3 seconds in warp time.
Docking request accepted.
I think we have enough. Okay, not yet enough. There will be still need to do one more trip if we decide to do that immediately.
Warp drive active.
But maybe we can just get away with not taking out all loyalty points.
Warp drive active.
So 167,000 field extender, and then resistance rigs are actually extremely cheap. So I think we are going to get at least one EM resistance rig, and then it's a question of whether you want to spend another 340,000 ISK or not. I think it's quite safe to assume that we are having very cheap sub 1 million slasher, yeah, even with this fitting. So in this case, field extenders are probably better, the best option.
Warp drive.
So something like this, and I will save this fit. It's definitely not
Docking permission
optimized.
requested.
We're still having afterburner,
Docking
and
request accepted.
although our resistances do look good, everything else doesn't. We have spare CPU and power grid, and our guns are not the best guns that we can probably have here. And rigs are obviously quite cheap ones, and basically everything is just built around the idea that we need to keep this ship as cheap as possible so that we can replace it immediately in case of a loss. Okay. Once again, this we have 2.9, so that would be 11 packages of molecular engineering data course.
Warp drive active.
If we continue with this for a while, then we can probably eventually upgrade our ship to some Republic fleet Firetail or some other factional ship, especially those that are provided by the factional warfare itself, because those would be very cheap for us to obtain.
Warp drive active.
But again, that depends on your strategy. Strategy to keep things as cheap as possible is also a valid one, and it will give you basically the advantage that your kill board will always show if you are killed, you are worth nothing. So nobody will try to actively hunt you just for the loot. Because, for example, in factional warfare, basically the rule is such that people will kill you and they will get your normal drop, the 50% drop rate, and everything above that will actually be added to loyalty point pool. So everything that actually gets destroyed from your ship, or significant part of it, will be paid out to your opponent in the form of loyalty points. So basically ISK value of your ship
Warp drive active.
converted to loyalty points, and then, well, maybe not 100%, but say another 50%. So in factional warfare we basically get not standard 50% drop rate from enemies, but something closer to 75-80%. That's why flying expensive ships in factional warfare is not the safest bet.
Docking request accepted. Warp drive active.
Okay, so after exchanging the last part, we will probably have somewhere in the range of 8.2-8.3 million ISK. Not too shabby for a first day of playing EVE Online, and actually not even the first day, but actually the end of 4th hour of our gameplay. And realistically, I have not used much of the skill points, and even those that I applied did not really affect my progression, so in theory you can do all of that with a completely empty character made with MinMatar. You maybe need just some minor skills to have this afterburner, but again, this is even civilian one, so yeah. These inertial stabilizers can be used. One good thing and one important thing for this is to have the navigation and this where is it? I need to have a different setting because it disappeared after I trained it. Oh, come on. This interface, the new one, is so annoying. Okay, I cannot open it immediately.
Warp drive active.
How do I change the setting if it doesn't open me a pop-up window? Okay. Fine.
Docking permission request.
I think that
Docking request
could be a
accepted.
Linux bug, because I don't think that this would have been a pass in Windows quality assurance. So yeah, this evasive maneuvering skill is actually the one that you want to have trained immediately for this purpose, for the purpose of these activities, because it actually increases your chance of survival dramatically, because it gives you extra warp out speed. Okay, final batch. And we have 3000 loyalty points here left to check out. So that would be 12.
Warp drive active. Warp drive active.
And after selling this last batch, I will go to Rents to actually outfit the slasher, and I will try to hunt the 4 remaining NPCs.
Warp drive active.
So that we get this skill point.
Docking request accepted.
I honestly don't think that those opportunities are anything good related to what we have just done here and what we have been doing even before the downtime, so it's really hard to justify why are these opportunities good for us? Okay. So yeah, finally we have 8,160,000 ISK. That's our starting cash.
Drive active.
Whoa. Oh yeah, sure. That's the expensive one.
Warp drive active.
And I can, yeah, I will wait. And then I will multi-buy this stuff. And we need probably also charges for our guns. Not just EMP, because EMP is not good for angels. Instead we want to have fusion.
Docking permission requested. Docking request accepted.
Okay, we need to have shield operation skill. Actually now we can buy it automatically, because now it's not that much ISK. And we can immediately raise it to, I guess level 3 would be good, because again this skill adds capacitor saving,
Skill training completed.
and level 3 is not that expensive. Just basically 9,000 skill points.
Training completed.
Okay. And now we can fit our ship. And something is missing, so we can actually buy all. Okay, so some missing parts are actually quite expensive, like these shield amplifiers, but again, they are expensive relative to their normal price in this region, but not actually that expensive, so. And we still need fusion. I will buy probably 3,000 of fusion and up to the same amount of EMP. Okay. And now we can use this ship to hunt some NPCs. And we are almost at 120-minute mark. Okay, there are no asteroid belts in this system. Are there any anomalies? No? Okay, then let's pick the lowest security status, because the lower security status of the system, the better is the probability that you will find valuable pirates there. Without afterburner we have 1 minute, with afterburner 48 seconds of active tanking. Not much, but we don't have to keep our shield booster on all the time. And yeah, let's hunt Angel Refuge. I think we have more than enough, both in terms of tanking and in terms of speed and damage, to kill Angel Refuge. Okay, somebody's already killing them. Let's join the fight. Okay, we actually got this kill. Probably try to aim for smaller ones. No, we didn't got that kill. Oh. Not got this one. Two more to go. Well, and there is insufficient enemies. Okay, let's hunt the belts. This system is probably having at least some belts populated because there's so many of them. And yeah, we have completed the challenge. Oh, 500,000 ISK. That's a reward. That's a reward indeed. So on this note, I think we're done for today, and I hope you all the best, and let's see in the next stream. It might be tomorrow evening or the day after tomorrow on Saturday. But so far, thank you for watching, and see you another one. I will talk and continue only on the live stream on this channel. Yeah, thank you.